We are Big Baller Firm, and today we are going to be presenting on Nike.
So, to begin with our executive summary, obviously our firm has been hired by Nike to address the supply chain issues and to sort of give you a picture of where these issues begin. The 2020 pandemic sent the world into shutdowns. The economy went through massive changes, shocks on both supply side and demand side. And this affected a lot of firms worldwide, specifically for Nike. They experienced shutdowns in their Vietnam factory, the location where they produce about 50% of their merchandise. Multiple times had to be closed down due to worker COVID cases. And so when these closures happen, obviously outputs of supply get seriously impacted. And with those impacts, there was a while during 2020 and 2021 as well, where Nike actually wasn't able to meet the demand for their products. They were running out of inventory. There were shortages on the supply side. Fast forward to 2021, Nike's gone through multiple consecutive quarters of dealing with shortages on their supply side. And so to counter this, they accelerate production in their factory in an attempt to have all the goods they need for the holiday season done well in advance and ready to be sold. And the only problem is they took things up a little bit too far. So way too much inventory was sent to Nike all at once, and inventory that had been delayed due to shipping issues all came in as well. So there's about a year's worth of merchandise for Nike that is all being pushed ready to sell now, and Nike doesn't have the ability to store that. They definitely don't have the ability to sell it. Demand is continuing to grow, but not at the rate of 4 times the demand that they had projected for the fourth quarter of 2021. And so as a result, this has put the company in quite a bind, because if you offload that merchandise for a loss, that's a serious impact to profitability, which affects the company itself, a lot of shareholders of the company, and it also puts a very negative image out there of Nike's brand, which is the strong suit of their company. So for us, in analyzing a solution to this, we really leaned into Nike's existing value segments, which is their brand. The brand of Nike is their number one value proposition to customers, and that is going to be the key to getting them out of this situation, while also mitigating losses and continuing their projected growth as a company.
The managerial problem our firm, BBF, has been hired by Nike to address is their recent excessive inventory issue. Due to pandemic-related factory closures in Vietnam, where about half of Nike's inventory is manufactured, the lack of production caused a shortage for Nike and several other apparel markets from 2020 to 2021. Now, as Nike's production returned to normalcy, they are experiencing an oversupply on inventory. Because of delayed shipments, 3 seasons of Nike's apparel eventually arrived at once unexpectedly. This overloaded Nike's shelves as their level of inventory did not match their demand. According to ABC's Eyewitness News, the company's inventory levels has increased by 65% in North America in the last year. As they begin the fourth quarter with this surplus in inventory, current levels of demand lack the ability for Nike to clear their inventory through their own sales, resulting in Nike being forced to discount their items, move out-of-season items to its factory stores, and sell off their merchandise to other retailers. These are desperate measures for Nike, as they have been trending in the direction of decreasing sales to other retailers. Discounting their prices or selling their product in outlet stores risks their brand image of being a high-end, exclusive sporting good and apparel company. We are now going to give our solutions for how Nike can overcome this supply chain issue.
So now that our managerial problem is clearly defined and stated, the next step towards developing a solution is to fully analyze the situation and all parties involved. And so the party involved at the forefront are the stakeholders in Nike and its customers. The stakeholders in Nike, it goes without saying, when losses are taken on such a massive amount of inventory, that puts a serious dent into profits, into cash flow, into investors' return on investment. And having investors lose on their investment creates a lack of faith in the company, which in turn means that there will be even less demand for becoming a shareholder of Nike, which will only compound the issue. However, those stakeholders and their profits and their financial losses do have to be balanced with our customers, in the sense that our customers are where we get our unique value from. We present our value to them in the form of our brand. Our brand is always reliable, it's always a leader in the industry. It's a status symbol when you have Nike, as opposed to a competing brand. So impacts to the brand image of Nike are going to be just as devastating in the long run as a potential short run loss of profits and loss of growth ability. So managing that dynamic is really key. And specifically with some of Nike's larger clients, sports leagues like the NFL, NBA, universities like Washington State, Oregon, that rely on getting large quantities of sporting goods, merchandise, apparel, sort of full product scopes of Nike's. And they need that stuff in a timely manner. And if they lose faith in Nike, it is a substitutable product. It may not carry the same esteemed branding as Nike has, but a competitor like Adidas or Under Armour, if they're able to provide a substitutable, useful product in a timely and trustworthy manner, we lose the opportunity to maintain those clients, and we allow our competitors chances to get their foot in the door to poach some of our largest clients. Aside from the customers, the macro environment, which is sort of the cause to this whole issue in the first place with the coronavirus pandemic going on, that is a factor that needs to weigh into our decision making as well. To think that things are going to be back to normal now is not realistic. The equilibrium levels that were more or less in existence before the pandemic began are probably never going to return. So we're dealing with a whole new global economy, and it's very unpredictable at this point, especially given the political climate in a lot of the countries where we do most of our manufacturing. COVID laws are just as harsh as they have been in countries like China, Vietnam, Indonesia, and workers are starting to really lose morale and even walk out. I mean, we've seen companies like Apple currently going through employee walkouts and strikes, and as more companies do that, that value and that seeing that happen with other companies will empower workers to do the same thing. They'll feel like, oh, we saw the Apple workers do that, we can go do that as well. And so that can potentially create an even bigger supply shock than the one we're currently working to get out of. So there are a lot of moving parts to this, and in coming up with the decision for the short run, it's very important at the same time to make decisions that factor in a perfect balance between the short run and the long run as well.
Using the BCG matrix, we're able to analyze a lot of Nike's products and able to put them into 4 distinct categories. Let's first start off with the dogs. The market growth of skateboarding has cooled down significantly, especially over the past 2 decades, due to skateboarding being less popular in the mainstream. This, along with lowering market share due to outside companies such as Vans, has caused Nike SB to lower significantly in profits and market share. Secondly, question marks are a lot of brands that Nike used to have a big market share into, but have lowered significantly, even though the market growth has stayed consistently high. To start off, Nike Golf has lowered significantly due to outside brands such as TaylorMade, Ping, Adidas, and Callaway, eating up a lot of the former market share that they had from the heights of Tiger Woods. Secondly, Jordan Brand falls into that same exact category. as outside brands such as Adidas, Puma, New Balance, and even their own in-house brand Nike shoes have caused Jordan Brand's market share to decrease significantly over the past decades. Finally, Converse inhabits their own unique space, as they are a brand that Nike acquired but has seen significant sales decreases over the years due to their market share decrease. Thirdly, stars have been a lot of Nike's bread and butter over the past 10 years. As millennials and Gen Z have becoming more and more active, they have been shown to have higher increases in sporting equipment and sporting growth due to the high market share growth rate that's been happening with them. Along with Nike being such a popular brand in this section has caused them to have a high market share compared to other competitors. Finally, cash cows is what Nike has been found off of and has consistently been one of their main forms of profit since their founding. Even though market share growth has been low for footwear, it doesn't really matter as Nike's high market share and the need for everybody to wear shoes has kept it relevant for so many years. Along with the legacy product lines such as Air Force Ones, Nike Cortezes, and Air Maxes, has kept Nike's footwear lines consistently making money even though it has low market growth.
A strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis is a tool that can help to analyze what Nike is doing right now and helps the company to devise a successful strategy for the future. SWOT can also uncover areas of the business that are holding Nike back or things that Nike's competitors could exploit to give themselves an advantage. A SWOT analysis examines both internal and external factors, that is, what's going on inside and outside of the organization. So some of these factors will be within Nike's control and some will not. In either case, the actions that can be taken on response will become clearer once we've discovered, recorded, and analyzed all the available factors. Nike's strengths showcase the company's strongest selling points of its SWOT analysis of the company. These aspects are some of the driving force behind what Nike is as a company, as well as their corporate agenda and strategy. Nike has a strong brand value and awareness in the market. As of 2022, it has a brand value of over $146 billion US. Its logo and tagline, "Just Do It," are some of the most recognizable of the brands in the market currently. In addition, the easy to pronounce and unique name make it a strong core brand. Nike has a solid customer base across the globe. From people in America and India to Europe and other parts of the world, Nike is one of the most likable brands in footwear. The customer base is loyal, and it is difficult for them to shift to another competitor due to the comfort and quality of Nike products. Since 1993, Nike has worked on its Reuse a Shoe program. This program is Nike's longest running program that benefits both the environment and the community by collecting old athletic shoes of any type in order to process and recycle them. That material is then used to help create sports surfaces such as basketball courts, running tracks, and playgrounds. While Nike has some significant strengths, part of understanding a company is understanding the weaknesses that the company has at a given moment. These points of improvement for Nike can help the company focus the direction towards removing its weaknesses and continuing its standing as a cornerstone of the athletic footwear business. Nike depends on the American market for its sales because 40% of their sales come from the northern part of America. Hence, even after its global popularity, the business substantially relies on the United States market for growth, profits, and revenue. Also, the dependency on one country makes it challenging for the business to establish a well-balanced customer base. Much of Nike's inventory goes through retailers, and as a result, these retailers hold a significant power in regulating the price of Nike's goods. With the recent inventory problems that Nike has been experiencing, these retailers have been discounting goods, which can cause problems for Nike's reputation as the brand gets diluted. As of 2021, Nike has reported over $9.4 billion in long-term debt. That level of debt is significant liability for Nike and one of the major factors that investors consider when debating whether or not to invest in the company. The different opportunities that Nike has can lift the company to new heights. There are a variety of different avenues that Nike can use to explore these opportunities, and successfully jumping on any of these opportunities can increase the revenue of the company significantly. One of the possible options Nike has is that they can expand their foreign markets. Recent expansions into new markets in India and Asia have created new markets for the company to expand and develop. Rising interest in Nike's products in these specific markets will push the company to a more global presence as they adapt to these new foreign locations. Nike also has an opportunity to capitalize on the innovation of its products. As the climate is shifting to climate change, Nike has an opportunity to develop products that are more in sync with adaptability as the world forever shifts. The company can also focus on the agility of its products to help them perform better in high-activity situations such as exercising and sports. Nike is not without its share of threats on both the company and global scale. These threats have been identified as a significant challenge towards Nike's revenues as well as its brand prestige and reputation. Global factors and events have also contributed negatively to the company, and Nike must adapt and overcome these conditions if it wants to eliminate the threats that have been discovered in this analysis. In recent years, trade tensions between the United States and China have risen significantly, with the words trade war having been used to describe the situation between the two nations. Tariffs, diplomatic conflict, and other negative factors to trade have arisen as a result of the dispute. These factors have impacted the supply chain of the materials that Nike uses in order to manufacture its products. The COVID-19 pandemic also proved to be one of the most disruptive events in terms of global trade that humanity has ever seen. Factories shut down, ships stuck at ports for weeks or more, and production of materials ground to a halt. Nike was one of those majorly affected as they ran into problems with maintaining their inventories throughout the pandemic. The lasting implications of the pandemic on the economy are still uncertain and have a chance to impact both Nike and the market itself.
So, what should Nike's strategy be? Nike's mission statement is to allow athletes to perform the best of their ability. So we feel like Nike should expand their mission statements to make it so being an athlete doesn't mean just being physically active, but making an athlete more mental, putting your all in to no matter whatever you do, whether it be running, cycling, or studying. This starts off with finding out the market, meaning you figure out who uses Nike's products more for the athletic side and who uses their products more on the casual side. This allows them to target two distinct markets, those being the professional market and the casual market. Nike is already doing well in the professional market and should focus more on the casual market to help expand more as more people use, as it will allow Nike to be seen more as a casual, everyday lifestyle brand and less as a solely athletic brand. This can be done by introducing more footwear that can be used on the casual side instead of the athletic side. Casual lines such as the Air Max, Air Force Ones, and Nike Cortezes have been profitable for Nike for decades, so trying to expand on those product lines can be very profitable. To go along with this, clothing product lines such as the Nike Tech Fleece has been very, very profitable for Nike. So expanding on that product line as well as introducing new ones can allow Nike to have even more outreach and be seen as the everyday brand for everybody. Finally, the action plan of our 4Ps. For the product, we want to try to highlight products that people can wear every day. For the price, we want to keep the price similar to what Nike currently has, as we don't want to dilute the product, as the price tag does have a strong affiliation with the customers, as customers feel that they're paying for a higher quality product. Promotion, we're going to try to promote more towards the casuals, people that aren't considered athletes, advertising more in casual outlets such as Instagram, less on sporting events, along with a lot of collaborators such as celebrities can help influence the Nike brand a lot and make it more positive in a lot of people's eyes. The place will obviously be through social media, TV advertising, billboards, and hopefully viral marketing. So we made an advertisement that we feel could help showcase our new direction at Nike.
What does it mean to be an athlete? Is it how fast you're able to run? Or how much you're able to score? Maybe it's something different. Maybe it's how much time a student is willing to study. Or how much effort a worker is willing to put in. For whatever you do, there is only one brand that makes you perform like an athlete. Because performing like an athlete isn't what you do, but how you do it.
Thank you for watching our presentation. We hope you enjoyed it.